On July 28th, Venezuela completed its presidential election. To the surprise of nobody, the incumbent Maduro claimed victory. But a bunch of countries, including the US, have refused to acknowledge the election results, and the US is now saying they recognize the challenger, Edmundo González Urrutia, as the winner. In this video, I want to give you a real-time update on what's happening in Venezuela, whether or not this might be a good destination, and why you can benefit and really learn from what's happening, even if you have no intention of ever going to Venezuela. The bottom for Venezuela was 2021 during the lockdowns, because the government finally figured out that what they were doing wasn't a good plan. And so they did implement one big change that has made a big difference already, and that may mark the start of an uptrend in Venezuela, which is they allowed the country to dollarize. Most transactions are now priced in and conducted in US dollars. People in Venezuela can use US banking, including payment apps like Zelle. These are exactly the kind of opportunities we look for, because if you catch a place like Venezuela at the bottom and it gets a little bit better, it can change your financial future. And there's a lot of wealthy parts of Venezuela still. This was one of the wealthiest countries in Latin America until very recently, and so there's a lot of money that fled Venezuela that will find its way back, especially in the really upscale business areas. The nicer areas of Caracas are already seeing something of a renaissance. An apartment in Chacao, which is a nice neighborhood of Caracas, for 108 square meters, 1,200 square feet, is priced at $90,000 US. A $90,000, 1,200 square foot apartment in a major city like Caracas, if Venezuela gets its act together, is still bargain basement. But Margarita Island is by far the best location, not only because it's super beautiful and on the Caribbean coast of Venezuela, but because it's the major tourist mecca, not just for Venezuelans, but for people all over the world. There are beachfront condos, fully appointed turnkey properties in nice gated communities in beautiful areas of Margarita Island for as little as $35,000. Looking at the opportunities here, find something that would be acceptable, and then try to time when the turnaround is actually coming. Am I saying that you should invest in Venezuela right now? No, I'm certainly not. However, the moment things go from bad to less bad, you're sitting on a fantastic investment. And contrary to what most people believe, my people who went to Venezuela recently said there's absolutely no safety issues. Yes, you have to know where you're going. Yes, you don't want to end up in the wrong neighborhood, but that's the same in any part of the world. It's no different in Chicago. It's no different in New York. It's no different in San Francisco. It's no different in any other part of the world. You do have to know where you're going. You have to be aware of the dangers around you. But the idea that you're going to step off a plane and instantly get robbed at gunpoint or something like that, that's all myth. It's important to understand the dangers and the risks. But if you understand what's happening in Venezuela, if you get even a small part of the lessons that can be learned when a country's in crisis, it doesn't mean that everything is in flames and that nothing's ever going to get better. What tends to happen in places like Venezuela, once things have been bad long enough, people get fed up and a change comes and the place goes from bad to less bad. When I first came to Guatemala, the peace accords were signed in 1996. I got here in 1999. This place was like a coiled spring, and the tremendous upsurge in prosperity and peace and the willingness to do business and for people to really, really enjoy prosperity for the first time in generations. Colombia was a neighborhood of Pablo Escobar, and the tremendous violence in Colombia and the drug cartels in the 80s and 90s. All of that ended, and now, just like Guatemala, Medellin was a coiled spring. So much wealth and prosperity comes from these places, and this is what's going to happen in Venezuela too, mark my words. At some point when the turn comes and when the bottom is reached, Venezuela too will go from really bad to less bad to not too bad to kind of good to wow, holy cow, I wish I had gotten in back then. So that's why you need to pay attention and understand what's happening in Venezuela. Make a study of this kind of stuff. I started down this path over 25 years ago now. I bought this property in 2000. The quality of life that I've been able to enjoy here, the tremendous, unbelievable experience that I've had just by taking the chance and making inroads and figuring out how to set myself up in Latin America, is completely beyond anything that my peer group can possibly understand right now. And it's so easy to do. So I try to cover as many of the different locations that I visit in Latin America to share with you the quality of life and what it's like to be out of the tremendous maelstrom and vitriol of North American politics right now. That's what we do here on this channel. So please give us a subscribe if you're into this topic. And if you want help with your Plan B, I created a free download. It's called Bulletproof Plan B. This walks you through the 4 major pillars that you'll have to put in place to have a true, safe, secure, well thought out Plan B. That's absolutely free. So check that out, and I'll talk to you again in another video. Remember, your freedom begins when you realize nobody else is coming to save you. Thanks very much.